Hello, everyone. I want to make a video just discussing loosely some aspects of the first essay. This is intellectual heritage. This is a different sort of class, I would say. Not only a different sort of class for you, but frankly, a different sort of class for me. I am a philosophy teacher, mostly, and I also teach intellectual heritage part time. Philosophy itself is kind of, if you ever taken a philosophy course, you realize the questions are rather large. It's not really clear what exactly the subject matter is or how it should be approached. But at least in philosophy, there are kind of particular approaches to certain questions that I would say students need to master, let's say, from a particular philosopher's point of view. Whereas IH51 or IH52, intellectual heritage in general, I mean, it's a wonderful class insofar as it's really not clear what, that's why there's really exams are problematic in this class, is like, what are you supposed to learn from this class? Whatever it is, it's not information, it's not facts, it's not recall. I think that what you're really being evaluated on in IH51 is your ability to discuss a text in an intelligent and creative way. And that is a reflection of how much work you put into reading it and becoming familiar with it and thinking about it. There's no preset idea of what you need to think about something, what you need to say, what there is to get out of a text. The whole idea of a classic is that there's always something more to be gotten out of it. And there's always a different way of approaching it. That the text itself is so rich and touches upon questions which are so deep that you could never really exhaust all that it has to offer. So whenever we write about something like the Old Testament, we know that we're taking our own particular view of it, which is always partial. And so a class like this, I think the assignments need to be more open-ended. That look at the assignment I've given you. What was the most interesting, most compelling, most important idea in the readings we did from the Old Testament? Why? There couldn't be a more open-ended essay prompt or essay assignment than that, which is it's basically saying, what did you find most interesting when we read Genesis, Exodus, and Job? What was the idea there? What was the problem? What was the incident that raised your curiosity, that got you thinking? Was it when Abraham was called upon to sacrifice Isaac? Was it when God expelled Adam and Eve from the garden? Was it when Job complained to God, or was it God's answer to Job? Was it in the idea of creating human beings in God's image? Was it the hardening of Pharaoh's heart? I mean, one of these incidents or one of these things must have raised questions in your mind, gotten you thinking in a particular way, puzzled you perhaps, made you worry about the text in some way or another. Maybe the most important idea is not an incident in the text, maybe it's the very idea of a God. Maybe it's the very idea of human beings being created by God. I mean, that is not the scientific consensus, right? I mean, maybe the most important idea is something you think is completely wrong. Maybe you think the whole creation story is just so misleading because it's so far from the scientific truth, in your opinion, that you think it's a bad idea. Maybe you're right about that too. Maybe the idea is this whole notion of dominion, of human beings being given control and dominion over nature. And maybe that's a bad idea, or maybe it's a good idea. It doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter what position you take on these texts, for or against, ambivalent, open, closed. The only important thing is that you have an idea about the text, and that be something that truly interests you, and that you show in your writing that you have thought about something in a fairly deep way. So what I'm asking you to do in this essay assignment is simply, that's why I put it three different ways: interesting, compelling, important. You don't start your essay by saying the most interesting, compelling, important idea. I'm just throwing those words out there to try to give you a sense of what I mean is that you choose something that you think is important, that you think is interesting about these texts. It certainly shouldn't be about everything that we read. It's not a review. It's not a book report. It's not a summary of the readings. It's an exploration of ideas. So you can focus on one little part of one text and exclude everything else. You can combine different little parts where you've made connections. That's totally up to you. But the worst way to go about this would be just to summarize the readings, because that's not the assignment. Look at the assignment. What was the most interesting, most compelling, most important idea in the readings we did from the Old Testament? That forces you to make a choice. What was the most interesting thing? And then the why is just the explanation. Well, this is why I think it's interesting, because it leads to this, or it questions this, or it exemplifies that. So you're kind of forced to come up with your own topic here. And that's because you're forced to make decisions about what you think is really the most important thing. Or maybe you'll reject the thing and say, well, there's not one most important thing. There's a string of important things. And that's fine too, as long as you relate them. So please respond to the above with a polished, formal essay of about 3 pages, which would be about 750 words. Polished, formal essay. I don't have really rigid rules about what a formal essay is, except to say that an essay, a real essay, introduces an idea in the beginning, develops that idea in the course of the essay and discussing it, explaining it, connecting it to other things, and then has some sort of conclusion where it tries to wrap things up. So every essay that is an academic essay about a topic like this will have that kind of structure. Some question, idea is introduced in the beginning. It is that question is taken up in the body of the essay, and there's some sort of conclusion, however indefinite or however hesitant it may be, because you can't really, in 3 pages, how much are you going to do really in terms of proving things? But some sort of ending in which you kind of come to some sort of conclusion about the question or topic that you have brought up. If you would like to talk about this further, if you'd like to contact me, if you'd like to bounce an idea or two off me, please do so. Email me or call me, and I'd be happy to respond.